So the first step towards developing your art style is to get inspired by different artists and to implement the things you like about their art style. But we have a bit of a problem here. You can't really do that if you don't know the artist you like in the first place. So I've gone ahead and jotted down some exceptionally skilled artists to have on your inspiration list. Before starting, I just want to tell you that this list is not ranked on the basis of who's better than whom. This is purely based on my personal opinion and artists who inspired me the most. Alright, with that being said, let's count down the list of artists who can potentially inspire you for the months and years to come. On number 10, we have Ramon. He's a very skilled artist when it comes to character expression and overall theme of the character. I really like the way he tells a very immersive story within the image with just a handful of characters. So if you want to be a character designer, you must follow him around. Alright, moving on to number 9, we have Kan Lu. He is a professional in Riot Games and man, look at this. Every blob of color is visible when you zoom in, but when you zoom out, it all makes sense. The overall composition is intact despite the rough rendering. This is a crazy skill to have. Every blob of color is strategically placed, and yeah, he calls this a sketch. In Kan Lu's world, this masterpiece is a sketch. I wonder what happens if we go all out. He's very good at showing the movement. If you want to let loose of yourself and create something like him, you should definitely check him out. Okay then, here comes the number 8, Ellie Maple Fox. I don't know Ellie Maple Fox is a guy or a girl, but judging by Ellie in the name, she might be a girl. Feel free to correct me in the comment sections. Anyways, her art style is definitely a very stylish one. She's like a grandmaster when it comes to line art. Her artistic choices are very peculiar. If you can see her renders, you'll notice that she defines fold and hair with individual lines. She's not drawing like single strands and stuff, but the other way around. The hair is defined as cluster and with great shape language. Although I don't do line art in my pieces, but for you guys who do line art and trying to improve, you might learn a lot from Ellie Maple Fox. Okay, let's move on to number 7 on the list. Reno Tuna aka Reno Park is a very creative individual who should be on top of your list if you want to be a character designer. As you can see, his main theme is to make characters out of anything and everything. Look at this. Can you believe this character is a reference from BlackBerry? Every art piece is so detailed and on point. I think he has a course about character designing in Colosso, which might be useful for those who want to level up their character design game. With that being said, let's move on to the number 6. Zed or Trung Bue. Please forgive me if I pronounce it wrong. I happened to stumble around his profile recently and I was amused by it. His art style is a very mystical one. I think the main 3 ingredients of his art style are flow, great shape language, and rendering in a very specific way. Not to forget, he uses a lot of texture it seems, and this really adds a mystical feel to his art. If you can notice, he renders his piece very strategically. He renders out really minute details on the face and leaves everything else less detailed, with a lot of texture to balance the composition. You can also download his brush pack from the link in his bio. Try to emulate the way he uses his brushes by studying his art. You'll learn a lot. However, I'll make videos on analyzing different artists' art styles. If you don't want to miss those out, you know the drill. Now we are entering the top 5 zone. Proceed with caution. You might get your third eye open. On number 5, we have another industry professional, Ji Hyung Lee. He's very well known for his work in the comic industry, and his illustrations are very crispy and realistic. Judging by his illustrations, he really knows what he's doing. Unlike you and me. Look at this, nothing goes out of the lines. This kind of refinement really takes time, and whoever does this, I really respect them. He also has his own comic named Guma, which he has written himself. If you want to make a semi-realistic art or almost realistic art like him, you should definitely give him a follow. On number 4, we have Alaria V Art, the goddess of rendering. She's really good when it comes to rendering skin, cloth material, and ladies. And of course, how can you ignore the composition and environment she makes? Damn these dogs. By just a glance at her paintings, you can guess that she had a lot of time put in these pieces. And you're absolutely right about that. She also has a tutorial on YouTube about how she renders skin. I watched it and it helped me a lot. She has a Patreon page where she shares NSFW art and other exclusive content. So if you want to be an NSFW artist, you should definitely give her a follow. Now it's time for the big 3. On number 3 we have Vlog, or by his profile Wongling OP, and he's really overpowered when it comes to multitasking. I heard this from somewhere that he's a software engineer and makes art on side. If this is true, then he must have sacrificed his soul to the art god to be this good. I mean, look at this. He can even make 3D models and 3D animation. I don't know if I have ever witnessed such kind of skill from a guy who does art on the side. His art style consists of surreal environment inspired by Renaissance along with some softly beautiful rendered women. And he's a master when it comes to composition. Obviously the figure in his paintings are the focal point, but the way he puts the environment with the characters really accentuate the overall look of the piece. Alright, enough praising Vlog. Let's move on to number 2 on the list. Goes. Man oh man, he is really an art god. He got this very dark and gloomy kind of vibe to his pieces. His paintings are very cinematic when it comes to lighting. And this can be achieved by controlling your values in a very meticulous way. Making these kind of art pieces requires a very good knowledge of composition and values. Also, he has his own art book, not one but 2. He's on Patreon too, so if you wanna know his ways, you can check out his Patreon and Instagram. And for number 1, we have none other than Sam Does Art. Sam has inspired me to pursue art as my career, so obviously he's gonna be on top of the list. I know the majority of people knows him and follows him, but just in case you don't know him, here are some good reasons to follow him. He makes art look so easy to make. Not that his paintings are easy to make, but the way he explains the concepts really makes it seem easy. But believe me, he's very advanced when it comes to stylization. He deliberately leaves sketch lines to make the pieces more sharp, and this makes him a master of efficiency. Don't get deceived by his style. He can stylize this good just because he has a good grip on the fundamentals. He himself says that you need to know how to draw realistically before you can stylize your pieces. So there you have it. List of top 10 artists who might inspire you and help you to find your art style. Thank you for watching the video till the end. You can check out this art piece on my Instagram, and I'll see you in the next one.